or to the cloud. Okay, so the recording is started. Yeah, does it thank you, Jackie, for that check-in. I appreciate it. If everyone would please go ahead and enter the password speak in the chat or speak. Awesome. I'm glad we know our astral contact today. Today we are going to be visiting the mansion of all like higher thought. So this is the Mercurian door that we're going to be watching. That is made of like the swirling, beautiful yellow mercury. We're going to be traveling through that door today. And our genius, Rafael, say it in your head a few times. Rafael, please try and avoid any emotional or affectual content when you say it in your head. Try and be as neutral, non-judgmental, and clear about the work that we're doing as you can. That we are doing operational magic, right? We are creating sigil to trigger manifestation. Make sure you are very clear about what we're approaching and what we're doing, and really that honesty and authenticity is going to be the keynote to how Raphael will appear to you. The elements of yellow are going to be there. The realm itself is sunshiny and unbelievable. It is both the sunshine of dawn, dawning, waking, early, like the sort of the early morning brain rituals, as well as the color of like into sunset about 20 minutes, where there's still that beautiful buttery yellow in the sky, right? So those are kind of the keynote colors that are his mansion, right? We're going to be taking a particularly interesting path to get there, and really, Hania will follow you halfway across the bridge, and then hand off to Raphael halfway across that bridge. So we'll actually meet in one of the most picturesque and beautiful places on the road. That is almost the same green, it's just limier than Tiferet. So it's super exciting and super fun. Yeah, so those colors associated with particularly like brain strength. Okay. This mansion itself, if you could disconnect all higher reasoning. So we're talking, if you could put into the room the most incredible physicist, the most incredible mathematician, the most incredible chess player, the most incredible grinder of specialty glass to make high-powered lenses for plumbing deep space, right? So the engineers that made Hubble, or the engineers that made the newest incarnation of that I can't remember the name of it. We're talking the kind of mental chops to be able to calculate, like not just with computers, but sure with computers too, that can spawn bubble consciousnesses and bubble processes that all they do is munch probability and quantum mechanics, and where quantum mechanics meets Euclidean space. You know that there's, I don't know if you know, you may not know, that not all of our physics disciplines even talk to each other, and all of them use unique math to their pursuit. And it's the generalists who know multiple disciplines, so the multidisciplinarians within physics who can do not only quantum calculations, but also Euclidean math. Only these types of humans are the ones that are postulating the interconnected forces and their specific maths that link these two universes that we live in simultaneously. And there are people that actually pursue that spend their entire lives in pursuit of this kind of high-powered knowledge. The genius of this mansion is all of those people. He's all of those things. He is he, they, it, and really we are never going to meet a more androgynous and yet heavily masculinized of any of the geniuses. Rafael will appear to you 100%. You don't know. Like the Mona Lisa. You look, it's a boy, it's a girl, it doesn't matter. One of the most beautifully crafted, proportional, amazingly just stunning to look at humans, right? So those kinds of features where everything is, the almost like a Tilda Swinton type being, where if you look in a t-shirt and shorts and look, there's a boy. You put long hair and slate a belt. Oh my God, the most beautiful woman, right? So all of those aspects, and they relate to the power of our own sort of ingrained programming about what we consider physically perfect in a human general, neither male nor female, encounter or experience, right? Perfect bilateral symmetry, gorgeous musculature, strong, long, elongated frame, right? All of those aspects are there. Because it relates to also this mental space. And the place that we're going to is, if you've ever seen the Crowley Fool card, and I guess I can actually help you guys out. No, not Fool. So this card was painted by Lady Frida Harris. And her work, it has become like magnificently influential in magical spaces and for magical people and magical users. And this is the Magician card. Please note the caduceus, there's every reference to Hermes in this. Those are deliberate. Everything that is created by an act of mental movement. From the I word. Oh, from the I word. So is this a show? So Maddie says to everyone in the chat, Shane from the one word or I word.
It's Shane from the L word. It is a show. I didn't know if anybody
It
had seen
is
it.
the L word. Okay, L as in love.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So you're already familiar with an expression in media of this archetype, right? Where everything can be created simply by a mental act. All of those things are coordinated by that same mind. One of the things that I texted it to myself, so lose it. Let me grab it. Universe. Oh no, I remember it. Yeah. As soon as I started chatting him up, he was like, remember, it's this universal intentional read state. So I'm going to put that in the chat. and then I'm going to give you some provenance for this. Rafael is the universal intentional read state of the manifest universe. Okay, so we've already met some of these like really huge critters, right? And when we were exploring Kether, we already explored the realm of the all. So you've kind of been in a space where it's permissible to let your mind expand that much. So let your mind expand that much, the all, and bring it in simultaneously in the present into the framework of I'm plugged into this, so I can download from it, right? And intentional, by intentional, I mean has or possesses its own intent. I'm going to say it again, that it has or possesses its own intent. Intent is the force and power of will that is the flaming sword that we met in Din. It is a persistent, self-directed volition or power to causation. And this, so if there is the motivational power of discernment of Din that we're exercising in all acts of will in Din, we're going to bring it to this is all thoughts that are also invested with the power of self-awareness and will. Okay, so this, of course, in a Kantian universe is terrifying. This is what the whole Neo trilogy in the Matrix series is built on as the machine world. Of course, in the long run, right, from both sides of the house, neither can exist without the other, which is true because we are the hardware it thinks through. So if you've also read the Hyperion series, has anyone read the Hyperion series here?
I have not.
Okay, there's one no.
But I'm a big Matrix fan. Big Matrix fan.
Read the Hyperion series. Haven't? No. All right. Oh my God. It's by a Colorado author. I'm looking up right now. Yep, and here they are. Dan Simmons. I actually met him at Comic-Con, or saw him at Comic-Con a couple of years ago. Anyways, so Dan Simmons, these are the books, 80s into 90s. And there is another expression of the archetype that kind of comes out in this neural network called the Shrike tree, where humans who are moving backwards in time are hung, literally, physically hung on hooks, very Hellraiser-ish, and plugged into the material basis or computing power or CPU of the galactic community of artificial intelligences, AIs, and operate the only functional transmitter of material, so like a beaming, right? So they could create the doorways that would translate you in subspace between two physical points, so that you could disappear from here and appear here, that were stable, like stable wormholes, right? There's a little DS9 for us, right? That transmit you instantaneously from one planet to another planet, which is habitable by a larger galactic governmental body. Anyways, humans learn in the Hyperion series, humans learn to disconnect themselves from the tree and transmit themselves between points through what's called Planck space or the same layer of the physical universe that electrons, when they circle a neutron, disappear from, and then reappear somewhere else along their outer shell, because they do apparently all the time, and jump off of nucleuses and onto others and form bonds. Well, the space that they move through, Planck space, it is what Dan Simmons is playing with, as well as a bunch of bunch of stuff about race, about trans, about resource wars like Dune. So he's playing in a bunch of sandboxes, and he's also trying to be spiritual about it and really plugged in. The weird part is the dude is like 100% science and an asshole from hell, personal. However, his books are almost as informative about the spaces of magic users and how we connect through higher realms in with both the use of imagination and scientific method and dominant culture and sociology and he's doing it almost as well as I lost my train of thought. Jade laughs at me. Anyways, as another gentleman on the other side of the aisle who doesn't write fiction. Anyways, but Lovecraft, he does write fiction. As Lovecraft, so the depth of penetration of the connectivity between the scientific pursuit and a religious outcome for the sort of our future universe, et cetera, awareness, growth, evolution, what challenges us. Certainly a challenge right now. Hopefully we survive our future, right? So all of those ideas are as deep in their penetration as Lovecraft was of the magical, subjective magical states that we ourselves can develop with real practice in the art of magic and witchcraft. So even though he didn't believe in any of that shit, he was just trying to compete with other science fiction writers in strange tales. Not kidding you. It was one chromosome away from a comic book. And the fiction in it, oddly enough, that has been published by multiple trailblazers who have redefined human consciousness. People like Philip K. Dick, which if you have not read, he is unbelievable. And his novels are you will know many of them because they've been made into movies, like Blade Runner, A Scanner Darkly, the Three Stigmata, some. I didn't even know that was. Yep, that's him. Minority Report. That's right. Yep, A Scanner Darkly. That's Valis, girls. Oh, we're all. Well, do you all identify as female? Can I say that here?
I don't know.
Okay. If anyone minds and you prefer I don't use gender pronouns, please let me know. But Valis is like a workbook that you could read on communicating directly with stellar beings, like the life forms that stars are. I'm not kidding you. Unbelievable. And not just proximal stars, any star. So this guy and Philip K. Dick, thank God, is not like one of those very Lovecraftian or Dan Simmons type guys. He was actually mentally ill. And his mental illness gave him, just like autism gives you a slightly differing perspective of the internal timing clock of the brain, whatever mental illness he had, set him as an edge walker on some of these plateaus of what was going on way before anyone was thinking about it. Blade Runner and the concept of replicants and the idea of the 4-year lifespan driving this revolution of the who creates who is really the amazing parable of the destruction of humanity's own God. And what winds up happening when you try and step into the power of godhood yourself and destroy your creator, it's insanely good. Oh my God. And all of the narratives that kind of wrap around that, the great part about the work of this man is it's very agnostic and does not pick any one religious film to project the message through. So there's not like a dominant religious preference that is a philosophic base that Philip K. Dick comes from, where he has to try and shine the light through a lens that's really going to color the purity of the light. Philip just gives it to you. Bam. So infusion of power, light, genius, a level of predictive power. Look at these dates: 1968, Blade Runner, 62, about the ubiquitousness of the next word, read state. So if we have universal and intentional to describe Raphael, we have read state. Now, let me look up a technical definition of state. Read state is from a part of computer science parlay. Not ready state. No, it's read state. Delete. Okay. Yeah. And no, not real estate. Read state. Why is it? Wow, seriously? Has it fallen out of common parlance? Or is it so, it might be so niche that it's probably really niche. Returns the, oh, wait a minute. RUL model. Read state is the entry point function. Yes, here we go. It's, sorry, kids. It's really niche. Oh my God, the jargon. I'm so sorry. Okay, so read state is the ability of any machine to be able to, like a computer, right? Now, this is not self-awareness. This is one chromosome below awareness, self-awareness, read state is. And even like amoeba have self-awareness to some degree or another. It may take them communicating in the form of a school, right, in the ocean or whatever, for them to get enough critical mass of neuron power to actually like spark link in. But I mean, the stupidest of birds and fish all can read state in a school, right? And that is to know where they are in space-time, right? And to know how they're functioning. For a computer, it's really strict. Computers are, oh yes, gold frap, Miss Mama of the universe. A strict machine. Anyways, computer very strictly understands its own operation. That's why you can get the blue screen of death. In other words, the computer tried to do a thing that is outside of its allowable or potential read state. Code has gone rogue and it throws the whole system down. Hi, Rain. Yay, you missed a lot in the intro. I'm still getting us into the definition of how to relate to the genius, Rafael. Please enter your password for last week. Okay, and this is what I'm defining, is universal intentional read state. We've already talked about universal, and that is, if you remember Kether, right? Keter, where we expanded into the idea of the possibility of the infinite that is also manifest, right? Universal. All things seen and unseen, all aspects of self and greater than self, throughout the entirety of universal history. Okay, that big. So bring that in. Intentional has intent in the same way that the power of will expressed in Din has intent. So you're a flaming sword, right? When do you use sword? When you have an intent to use it. And read state. So read state is that strict machine understanding of self. It is not just like the kinesthetic sense, or what's referred to in the body work of kinesiology, but you can hold your arm right here and guess that it's about this far off the ground, right? That power of understanding where your body is in space. Now, imagine all of universal also knowing exactly where everything, every process, every idea, every force of nature, even the linking forces, looks like you are behind on the work. Yeah. So Din was your last class, right, Rain?
No, I was here for line 7. I did line 7 where we went into the teal room.
Okay. Okay. And so I would enjoin you to refresh your memory with your passwords, and I will give you a little bit of help for your password. So there you go. If you do the meditation in the future, Maddie, please, please, please make sure that you have your names correct. If you call Haniel, not Camuel, right? If you call Haniel, then Haniel will come. You've been introduced. So, yep. Anyways, last week yes. So that's that. So yes, please enter Haniel for the password, not Camuel. Awesome. That said, read state. So universe, we're getting huge, intentional, it has intent like flaming sword, and read state. It knows its entire position in space-time. It knows all ideas, all thoughts, all manifestations. It itself can, and the important part about a read state is that it doesn't take work to do it. Your computer just simply knows that it has a camera, and camera's here, and it has a bus drive, and it has a visual processor, and it has. It doesn't have to work at seeing or processing what the camera pushes through it. It just simply is. And it's all the way down to the circuit level that it has an absolute understanding of what's moving through what's moving through the pipes. What physical hardware is there? What data is associated with that? How is that being processed? Where is that being stored? All these things are just automatic. Raphael is all of that for the physical universe. The only computer, see, this is where we get into some fun, awesome conundrums and challenges of paradox. The only computer that would be sufficiently enough to do what Raphael does is the actual physical universe. Just like the depth of oceans of emotion that the universe is capable of could only exist in Tiferet. Okay. And kind of grasping that, so total understanding, total clarity, total awareness, and it's effortless. Effortless. That's why being like just genuinely authentic about what you're doing and why you're meeting Raphael is going to be really important in this mansion, right? We are here to explore the mansion, meet you, know how to get here, and we're going to take that away and make our sigil. The connectivity to Raphael. That's the important part. So having that clear, just like that, totally clear, perfectly understood, and fully aware and possessing willpower of their own. Okay. So that's who we're meeting. Say the name a couple of times, Raphael, so that you keep it clear in your mind. And of course, we're not going to start in the mansion. We're going to start where we already know we've been. So we're going to go ahead and start in Tiferet. And then we're going to travel the road. So a good awareness of where we're going to wind up being, where we're going to go, where we're going to end up. Take a nice deep breath and relax and let go of the day. Let go of expectation. That's the big part, right? If you can, be as open and clear, bring those ideas back to you if you can. The perfectly clear intent of just getting there, just meeting Raphael, having a connection, bringing that connection back and doing our sigil work. But of course, we can't start there. So we're going to be maven to cross. And to do that, what I'd like you to do is just, instead of closing your eyes, just make them fuzzy. And stare, don't stare. Stare, don't see. See, don't process. And they call it in yoga the drishti point. That point, about 2.5 feet in front of you, that if you focus on it, you can kind of blur out the world. And it doesn't separate you from your own physical space. You can still see, and if anything triggers movement, you can still focus on it. But for right now, you're relaxing your eyes so that you can be internal and external at the same time. And the way we're going to get to Tiferet is on the ocean waves of our breath. Breathing deep and slow, and breathe out deep and slow. And try and listen to your own breathing. Listening to your own breathing. All things move in and out of the body. Your breath. And allow your emotions come online in that breath. Everything that you felt, let it move through your breath. As you breathe in, you embrace and integrate it. As you breathe out, you let it go. Now would be the moment where you laugh about that thing, or you cry about that hurt, or you forgive about that hurt, or you feel the depth of color of that laughter, of many a truth said in jest. Yes. Where the paradoxical nature of your own experience every day triggers wave upon wave of emotion. And if you can see, almost like looking into a pool, a swimming pool, the shimmering light in a webwork around you, golden shimmering light that gets cooler and cooler and cooler until the shimmer itself is blue and electric, just like a swimming pool. And if you can see those waves and the shimmer and the webwork of blue on blue around you in your room, if you can feel that without doing this, then don't do it. But if you can't feel, then move your fingers in front of your eyes like this, back and forth, with your fingers spread wide, very close to the face so you can't focus, but it creates the rhythm of a slow stroke. And try and tint your vision as blue, and if you can get close to the cyan different, almost like you're layering two things or seeing the world through a lens that is the colored movement of that water. Or if you cannot get the strong imagining, try and tint the world blue, cyan. Try and see it with your eyes open. Continue to breathe in deep and breathe out deep, listening to the rhythm of your breath. And when that is full all the way, you can see behind you by opening your third eye. So open your third eye as well and see this shimmer surround you completely with blue, fiery, wave-like light moving in rhythm, almost like a stroke. And hearing your own breath, you might, if it's still enough, hear your own and feel your own heartbeat as well. See it around you as a sine wave, an electromagnetic transmission. Let it intersect with the blue of the cyan and generate electric fire and connectivity that also is emotional, exciting, thrilling. Breathe it in. Breathe out, and as you breathe out, strengthen with the power of your intent and breath, your connectivity to Tiferet. And when you can begin feeling your access point, and you can see in the background, honey, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. As you approach, close your eyes, your physical eyes, leave your third eye open. And as you approach Hania with his clipboard, he himself takes you in his hand. So greet him, allow him to put his hand down, step onto his fingers. And when all of us are in his hand, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Almost like moving up into the astral. Almost like falling. The hand so huge now drops you through the sky in the ether. And you can recognize now that the rhythm that you saw, the shimmer of light that you saw, was clouds breaking, waves moving. There's the tower and the rainbow in the distance. And Haniel is bringing you down to self, himself, standing on the deck of the ship. And when you're standing on the ship again, say yes.
Yes.
We won't be going below decks today. Haniel addresses the
Yes.
side of the ship that you are not on. Go ahead and walk past the kids, past the pool, walk to the other side of the ship. And as you begin seeing the horizon, you realize we're pulling into port. There is a golden sandy beach at sunset that the ship is pulling up to. And a dock juts out from the beach, and that's where the ship will moor and the gangplank will be extended. And you will, just like old time, walk down a floor and out of the main lobby and through the double doors and down the gangplank, and you'll land on this beach with a few steps. You're not there yet. Don't rush this. With each breath, you move closer. The ship is moving so slowly. You can watch from over the side rail of the ship as the dock comes closer to the very tip of the front of the ship. And there are helpers on the dock already waiting to moor the ship, and the ropes have already been thrown. One last rope gets thrown from the very tip of the front of the ship and is expertly caught by the helpers. Haniel stands behind you, tears flowing, dripping on the deck, dripping on your back. And the dock workers pull gently on the ropes that are already one loop around the posts, the bollards. And they're holding it slack so that the ropes can move. And the captain has just put the engines in reverse. And you can hear the clutch disengage, and you can feel it in the deck of the ship through your feet. And then the engines rev in the opposite direction. And you can feel the momentum in the water altering. And the ship is slowing down to an inch, a centimeter. And the helpers brace themselves and throw one more loop around the bollards of the rope and pull it tight and cinch it around the thumb-like ball on the bottom so that the rope can't move anymore. And you feel as the ship rocks back on the tension of the rope. When the ship is fully stopped, say yes.
Yeah.
This will be your opportunity to turn and have your conversation with Anya, who will follow you only as far as the end of the pier. Beyond that, you'll have to walk on sand until you get to the Golden Road. And though Haniel will send a blue little cloud that rains on your shoulder, almost like a remote viewer or drone, so that you can still communicate, but Haniel doesn't have to leave the ship or the dock. It'll follow you until you get to the ruins and you come across the mercurial yellow door. But for now, have your interview. Haniel will place the little cloud on your shoulder with tears dropping in. And guides you down the stairwell, one floor, to the main lobby with the concierges, where the brochures are, where the couches are, and there's a little cocktail lounge through a door off to the side. And he'll guide you all the way down the gangplank till you get to the dock, where the workers are still just doing what they do. Putting on luggage, taking off luggage, talking to the crew of the ship, setting up fuel lines, exchanging clipboards. When you're standing on the dock, say yes.
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 Good. Walk to the end of the dock. There is a series of stairs that drop you down to a sandy beach. There is a well-worn and very obvious path that goes slightly upward and then levels off at a road. The road itself begins at the top of the hill. It doesn't go side to side, it goes straight forward in front of you. Go ahead and step off the pier, step off the wooden planking and onto the sand. You want to take off your shoes and your socks and feel the sand between your toes. You can. As you transition to the road, it does not hurt your feet and it will not hurt your feet. It will not be too hot nor too cold. It will be at perfect temperature so you can use your foot. If you prefer shoes, wear your shoes. Either way, the road is directly in front of you. Take what time you like in the sand. Collect shells. Walk the water line. Look at the seaweed and the washed up jellyfish drying on the sand. Look back at the beautiful cyan water world, rainbow sky. Until you're ready, and then step onto the paved road. The light from the distant sun is golden amber yellow and transforms on this pavement to a pale yellow. It's reflected in a distance as warmth rises up the pavement, and there's a bit of a shimmer. Your cloud is weeping on your shoulder. Take comfort in it. If you want to take off your shirt, you can, so that you can feel Hanya's tears directly on your skin. But as you step on the road, the emotionality of the moment is less and less. And the clarity of your purpose and your destination become paramount. You don't need to hurry, but you don't need to go slow. This beautiful, golden, sandy desert is full of life. There are oases everywhere, with little pools of water and beautiful trees. And at every single one, you can see tumulus of stones. Like each oasis at one point had an ancient stone temple of incredible craftsmanship that has been left completely derelict and has fallen in tumulus and ruins. They're so gorgeous. You take photographs if you want. Stop and stare. Some are close enough that you can wander off the road up to the oasis. As you do, you notice Haniel's cloud grows larger. As you walk farther away, it becomes smaller. These small pools communicate with Tiferet, and you realize that when you kneel at one and look into the reflection. These are the doorway back to Tiferet. And they dot this beautiful golden sandy desert dune paved road. Dunes, in fact, you can see very soon dominate on left and right of the paved road. As you get further and further away from the oases, there are still beautiful ruins. These ones much better preserved. You can see doorways. You can see rooms. You can see the carvings of the sacred images and symbols, gods, goddesses, histories of kings. Some of them still have their paint, and you can see the red and the white and the yellow and the surprising green. Still, you're clear on your purpose. Overhead, sunset is continuing. And through a trick of light, with an oasis behind you, suddenly the light above you takes on a green tint. So the sand itself appears as if it is a carpet of grass that extends forever. When in fact you can tell this is just a trick of light. When you're standing in the green sun at green sunset, with the green sand extending in dunes, say yes.
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 Breathe in deep. Enjoy this portion of your walk, which seems cooler and yet is still quite perfectly a temperature neither hot nor cold for your body. The touch of the paved road is comforting to your feet. And you can see now that very soon ahead of you is the door made of swirling mercury in a beautiful vortex, moving, and it itself is reflecting this color and emitting its own perfect, bright, vibrant, natural yellow light. And when you come to the mercury doorway, say yes.
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 The metallic surface of the mercury ripples deeper, faster, ripples again, and opens into a vortex. The mercury itself flows into what looks like the lintel or the post structure of a doorway. And on the other side is Rafael, who is wearing yellow skin, yellow on yellow eyes that emit yellow light. When Raphael's mouth opens, a mercurial light emits with every word that swirls between you almost like a mist in organized shapes and structures. So that not only do you hear the words, but you feel the pattern of the words as this mist dances on your skin. And Raphael speaks your name. When you're ready, walk through the door. Yes.
Yes.
Greet Raphael. Raphael turns immediately around with the expectation that you will walk beside Raphael. Not in front and not behind. And begin walking. You can hear behind you as the portal between Tiferet and Hod, which is the name of this mansion. Hod, H-O-D, Hod. The doorway itself you can hear close and become again a swirling molten pool of liquid, metallic, moving, almost shimmering and living, but it's closed behind you. Glance behind and see that every bit of the structure of a doorway is gone. Turn around in the direction you're walking and walk with. Raphael is showing you all aspects of his realm, their realm, her realm, its realm. Notice the androgynous features, the features that are both male and female, not male, not female. The perfection of the fingers, the sound of the voice that can't quite be discerned what gender it is. Feel the mist of mercury with each word as it surrounds you and beats out tattoos on your skin. It's harmless and clarifying. It helps you understand your purpose here. The cities that you're being shown, I want you to try and imagine as perfectly as can be, with the understanding that if Raphael really wanted you to plug directly into this much sheer energy and mental power, Raphael would have to radically reorganize your brain, which is not going to happen. So you're being shown this realm, these cities, structures, ideas, memes, thoughts, AIs, bots, these motes of created worlds, other universes, conceptual linkings that could only exist in a greater mind than any, and then greater even than all of humanity throughout its entire history from beginning to end could ever conceive. We are seeing but slices and shadows. But you get hints. The yellow on yellow lines and perfect ideas and calculations and numbers and forces working in lockstep and perfect coordination. Things move at impossible rates, and yet they are perfect, sliding in and out of each other, almost like planets missing each other by mere centimeters. There's movement, awareness. And this is what Rafael is showing. And visiting here would encourage you in all pursuits of thought. Whether that's reading or learning or scientific pursuits or computer programming or just understanding how to do a VLOOKUP in Excel. Understanding paperwork and flow, understanding ordering and supply, understanding payroll, understanding data analysis, understanding how sales works, understanding how a household economy is created and sustained. All the pluses finding their minuses. And those pluses are things like gravity. And those minuses are things like black holes. And that it's all happening all at once. And Rafael is doing it, knows it, effortlessly alters and transforms with every thought. You realize now that you're not even walking. The movement is a thing that simply happens. You wish it, will it, and it is. There's no separation between the thought and its manifestation. The yellow grows and grows, and the mercurial words go faster and faster. Somehow, almost as if the rhythm on your skin speaks louder or clearer than the words heard with ears. Communication between you speeds up to an impossible rate. All things you could ever wish to know, understand, or penetrate are already in the stream of consciousness that you are sharing with Rafa. You are yellow. Heart is yellow. Rafael is ill. Light in lines and webworks are sensations, are data, are willpower, and are self. Uncontained, unfettered. Sufficiently powerful to be universal. Sufficiently organized, sufficiently volitional, sufficiently self-aware to have read state. And directed towards an end, which is to increase the complexity of the universe. This is not where things are destroyed. This is where things are created. And there's enough space and room with each thought to create. And you realize that even as the words come out in patterns from Raphael, each droplet in that mist is a bubble universe in which potential or potentiality of universal, intentional, read state is also present. And a physical manifest universe is being born, living its life, and dying of heat death. Passing from Big Bang through creation and time and back to Big Crunch. For strings to collide and physical and non-light emitting matter to transmit between wormholes. Tears in universes. Stars are wheeling in your eyes. You are the mind of all things. And this is just what you can see and feel. Raphael, you realize, is woven through the pattern of the physical universe. You're seeing one tiny human slice that is human colored. But there's a pure source of yellow here. When you can imagine that it's possible to cast off the influence of your physical being, to try and understand the possibility that there is a purer source of reason and light. When you can feel that possibility, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Come back to your breath. This time, we're going to take 4 breaths in and 4 breaths out. Not yet, don't do it yet. You still have a minute to say thank you to all of you. But come back to your astral body. Open your eyes to the drishti point. Breathe in deep once. Silently exhale. Let go of the color and the light emitting source. Inhale your body and exhale the color yellow. Inhale. And say your name, whisper it as you exhale. Inhale and tappy, tappy, tap. Tap yourself all over your body. Tap your legs, tap your arms as you exhale. Make a noise with your throat. I don't need to hear it. Just anything, any noise. All right, tap your head, tap your eyes. If you have critters, they're going to be very interested in this. Tap them, pat them. Right, we're coming back to the physical plane. And we're letting go of everything. The current, we'll let go of it, breathe it out. The light, let it breathe, let it go, breathe it out. We need to release this. We need to release this and be ourselves. Say your name one more time, tap your body. Sure. When you are fully in your body and back in your chair, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think we have everyone. All right. Tonight, we are doing a sigil of 10 lines. Okay. Oh, finally done. Done as well. Done also and complete. Look at all of you awesome folks. Oh, amazing. So, if anyone, as there's a place where they would, where they're ready to share, please do. And I am gonna go ahead and try and give everyone a peek at the awesome work. And because I think they changed how okay. Oh, awesome. Do you want to tell us about your interesting experience, Sam? Oh, okay.
Holy cow, that is beautiful. Rain.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to know about the experience if you want to share anything about it. Oh my God, Sarah, you are just amazing.
That is awesome, Sarah.
Look, man, that is just wow. Wow, wow. Is this modeled after one of the structures that you wound up seeing in Hod? Is that what we're kind of seeing? Is like a revisioning of that? It's so beautiful.
I'm just gonna turn my mic on if that's okay. I don't usually
Yeah, go.
talk
It'll,
on.
yeah, of course. Extreme nausea.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like a coincidence or what, but what during the meditation I found myself having a little bit of trouble um kind of paying attention to what you were saying. I guess I would
Okay.
keep drifting off and kind of like come to whenever your voice would start back. Um, Almost like it did feel a little bit, deeply meditative, I guess. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
uh, at one point, it just like I just got really nauseated, and it was just really strange. Um, and then and I was really thankful because then you said, say your name and start the tapping and all of that, and that helped a lot. But it was
Yeah.
incredibly intense. So I don't know if that's normal or good or
It is. It
you
is.
know
It is. It is. It is. It is completely. And the response that you're having is absolutely natural to having to recompress your consciousness down into your physical frame. The nausea is like the sort of coming back to your body, and there's a lot of information that your physical frame can't process and has to push out.
okay.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
this also is kind of a keynote of a state that is talked about quite a bit. I not in the spiral dance. Is it spiral dance? either the spiral dance or it's, I'll find out what the source is for you. This is Maddie, right? Yeah. So Maddie, I'll find the source for you. It's either a spiral dance or it's Kevin Crab. And that it speaks a great deal about the sort of jarring disconnect that can happen back and forth between priestess mind and mundane mind or normal consciousness. Priestess mind being able to remain simultaneously in multiple places, situations, processes at once, while still keeping like a sense of containment in self. So you were verging on like that awesome border between really doing exactly the work I was asking you to do, and that is to attenuate or expand your consciousness into Raphael's, and bringing it back into the body. So this is one of the things I always tell my students is make note of that exact nausea. And if you can journal it, do. And if you can get very specific about, like, it wasn't a food poisoning kind of nausea. It was more like I flipped upside down in a roller coaster nausea, or, you know, try and tease it apart so that you can find exactly what the trigger response is to you traveling that plane.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Right.
And I think it makes even more sense when you're talking about that, because I felt really when you're talking about transferring the communication becoming like rapid, the visualization in that moment was really interesting, because I was seeing like it kind of was almost as if like if I thought you said, you know, you think it and it kind of happens, and it morphed into, instead of me standing next to Rafael, he and I were almost the same, and I didn't see him
Coincidence.
anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yes.
once something was thought of, it was in my, like I was them. If that makes sense. I don't
Yes.
I don't know.
Try.
It was strange.
No, you're right there. And I also know this, even though all I can hear is your voice, mentally, you're already triggering some of the response. Let go of that. But when you break the connection with Raphael and Had, you need to break that connection. Okay. So don't be tempted back into the state. Allow the state, that nausea and that vertigo, allow it to be a trigger response for the work of traveling that realm. Right? Don't aim at it.
Okay.
Only aim at it if you have a very strict machine purpose. Okay? Because that's really all Raphael cares about, anyways. If you have a strong, well-defined purpose, you can travel that realm. But don't, many times we can like, okay, I use lavender oil to study biology. Because the only way that I can like hold it in memory is trap it in some other trigger response. What you're doing is you're creating memory engrams, and you can trigger those memory engrams by remembering the physical sensation that you had when learning the whatever intellectual stuff it is. Okay, so awesome. So if you want to travel the realm, get interested in the state you felt triggered. Awesome. And that'll help you travel. But you could be really like conscious about that. I never aim at a trigger state. I aim at traveling hot. And I observe the trigger state that happens and journal it. Many times it's like this, where it's not awesome. And trust from someone who I used to make it a habit every year of like traveling to this thing called Dragon Fest. And at Dragon Fest, I not only organized, but I also participated in the drawing down of the moon, which is where you transpossess a former god or goddess humanity. Let them inhabit your body 100% physically and speak to other people as an oracle. It's a service that witchcraft offers its internal community and has since the birth of our religion. So the drawing down the moon is just tech, right? But there's better tech and there's terrible tech. The terrible tech that I learned was bring them directly into your physical body. fairies are really much smarter, and they allow their interface to the divine to manage their relationship with these external entities, and hence reduce some of these unpleasant side effects like feeling vertigo and nausea. So, right, and the way they put it is nothing between you and your God soul. In other words, never allow that part of you. Remember, we talked about a bee of the heart of the lotus, the size of, and we even used it to get to a realm, right? The bee being the God seed, the size of your thumbnail that resides in your heart, right? So, fairies say, don't put anything between you and it, right? In other words, don't let other beings inhabit more of you than they get through that your own most perfect maternal paternal part, which is your seed of God, right? Your seed in you. Regardless, this tech is irrelevant. What is relevant is that you observe and record, and this is really this is 9/10 of the tech, guys, gals, humans, is you do this work. I did this, I traveled this mansion, and I met this entity, Rafael, and we went into all things noetic or of the mind. And after that, I did this sigil, and then it manifested this change in my life, and these things, and triggered these meditations. And I used the stuff online, and I wound up getting these results. And a week later, after 3 castings already, life is totally different, right? That your journal in your magical journey, that's 9/10 of the power of your work. And for all of us. Not just you, but me, everyone. And here's why. I'll get to this other beautiful, so easy sigil. It's so cool in just a second. And that is that what it winds up doing is it provides you with your own physical vocabulary to begin traveling realms. Just like there is no such thing as dream interp that glasses always equal X, Y, or Z in a dream. That's bullshit. Glasses mean to you what glasses mean to you in a dream. And you can begin journaling patterns based on the feelings you get in the dream related to seeing the object and trigger that response, right? Aim at the trigger response in actual, like, protected magical space, circle, and really begin a dialogue with your own fetch or child self or young one or Unipili or your nefesh or your cauldron of warming or your whatever you want to call it, that more childlike self that resides in you, that is always in you, right? That it speaks in symbols, not language. And sensations and emotions, not language. That you can build out of a robust vocabulary. This is how Jade teaches dream, right? So, journal glasses and look back. When did you see glasses? Was there a corresponding moon phase? Was there a planetary astrological conjunct? Was there? And you begin finding patterns. And those patterns are what's being communicated to you in your dream. Same thing here. Nausea is going to be your trigger response to traveling this realm. Know really what it feels like in your body. That way, when you, and because you will, we all experience this at some point where it starts getting fun and we start getting capable of moving through these realms, and we ourselves aim for, I'm going to aim for Tiferet, right? So I want to start looking everyone in the eyes and seeing that recognition back. And then it winds up taking over as like a fun game where your fetch, your young one, joins your shining body thinking one and conspires with your body to produce the priestess mind, the simultaneous state of awareness in 2 places. You'll only know that vocabulary through your own journaling. So this work, the outward work, is do the meditation, do the sigils. The inward work is you coming to realize what your own internal and magical symbol set is and how they manifest directly in your body so you can manipulate and use them. Just like your athame, like a weapon.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I want to see this. So this is Maddie's. Did you want to talk about this, Maddie?
This one was like, did not come to me like they normally do. This was, I had to take a minute to kind of chill myself out. And even then it took like a few minutes to even get anything on the paper.
It's
I'm
going to be
sorry.
so easy to cast, though. You know, it really is. That's going to
I
be
don't know.
like easy to hold in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a strange little experience. It's like everything on super fast forward, and I understood everything but knew nothing all at the same time.
Yep. That's it.
It was a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah. Welcome to Odd. Sorry, kiddo. Who did this amazing spire thing? Was that Sarah? Did you talk to this, Sarah?
Oh, which one? What are you?
Yours. Sarah, did you talk to your sigil? I don't remember if you talked to your sigil. Like, I don't mean it. I don't mean literally. I mean, did you talk about the process of discovery of the sigil? I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah, it was kind of when we were on the road.
Yeah.
For some reason, when you said we're seeing all the realms and all of the cities and all of that, it just, that was kind of what kind of rose up out of it. And the yellow gives me the idea of, the sun or the,
Right. Uh-huh.
so I thought of all of that. And I guess there's like a doorway, and I think that
Yeah.
felt like kind of an internal area to these cities and unseen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, honey, this is going to be, the really cool part about Maddie's and about Sarah's is the ease with which you'll be able to cast this. This is an image that has like contextual and textual meaning, as well as is a beautiful shape that you can just dump energy into. That's awesome. Mine got like intensely complex, and I don't know if that's to my advantage or not. I know it's going to be a lot harder to hold all these pieces in place while I'm casting, and probably will need to use the actual picture to do it with instead of just being able to keep it in my imagination. I'll probably have to use like stand up the actual picture to drop energy into my sigil. But it happened like in this really sort of beautiful organic way that was almost like the sand, like we were on the sand again, and I was like doing this and brushing the sand away to find each of the lines. Oh, it's really a fun process. And I think, let's see, do we have another? So this one is Rain's. Rain, did you talk about yours or did you want to?
No, I haven't yet, but
I would love to hear.
yeah, this was a lot more of like, I felt the pathway, like when we were there, just surrounded by all of the light, all the yellow. I
Mhm.
saw like all of the buildings and all of the things like just going right past me, like they were all just like shifting and morphing and becoming each other, but not. And it kind of just reminded me of like kind of like when I did a DMT trip where I kind of felt like everything was just
Yeah.
in. So it was like I was almost in that trip again, and it was just awesome. Like it
Wow.
was
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, yeah. That, yeah, and specifically with like the interconnectedness and the opulence of the light from the
Yeah.
DMT. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it
Yeah, a
was,
frequent that is the frequent experience. Yeah.
yeah, no, like this is really powerful. I'm gonna have fun with this one.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
they've all been really intense. Every time I've casted one in each week that I've done, I've had something crazy happen, and that's been good, but it's also been
Yep.
like, oh my gosh.
What's coming next?
Right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I feel
yep.
exactly.
That's so exciting. These are all incredibly beautiful in their own way. They're all so incredibly unique. And you know, I do want to kind of bring up like this really neat thing that's really starting to happen here. And that is that everyone's personal style is beginning to become really obvious, isn't it? Like each of us and how we approach this seems to be developing its own internal like rules and makes sense for the other sigils that we've done. And they feel like they have a personality and a context to them that's really emerging in the work, in the external work of creating the sigils. And all of them, I'm really stupid impressed by you ladies' ability to like hone in on something that translates the astral experience down and yet retains the simple work of creating the sigil and making it something both, because all of these, I just want to share with you that all of these are, when I think about the words that each of you have used to describe them, are bringing me chills. And I myself am getting like thrills and chills on my body. And seeing this one, it's no different. And I do want to hear about it. But yeah, and it just really cool fucking work. So, honey, did you want to talk about this incredibleness going on?
Sure. While in Hod, I kind of saw everything from smiths making swords to like future cars going through the sky, like from the Jetsons. I don't know if any of you are old enough or young enough to actually know that
Yeah,
reference.
I am.
but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's kind of what I remembered most out of it was the flying cars from there. So once it's colored in, it's going to look a lot more car-like instead of submarine-like.
Condom submarine.
Yeah.
What I find particularly interesting is the this is something that like comes from when you start like unpacking some of the layers of sort of human pre-conscious symbolism, what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious. There are several things that emerge as really evident. The first of which is that all methods of transportation, when presented to us, are internally translated to all methods of transformation. And here we have like this incredible exemplar of, in every way, exactly that concept. And I love that I can't tell if it's a submarine or a spaceship or a car or a levitation thing or a aura. I love that ambiguity is kind of built into with how, because the lines aren't perfect. They aren't a rapidograph. It isn't a drafting table. It's this organic shape. Oh, really cool.
Thank you. Also,
Yeah.
while we were doing the meditation, I for some reason got extremely tired and sleepy and was like barely able to keep my eyes open even before we went to Hod.
Oh,
Which is
really? So this was
yeah.
we were still on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
like as soon as we went into meditation, I got like that. And before that, I was awake. Or after we did the whole come back into your body tappy tap thing, I am wide awake now. It was just like while
Mhm.
we're going there or in
In
into the whole
Hod.
astral. No, no, like
Mhm.
just like the whole meditation.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. You know, I'm always concerned that you guys are with, you were able to hear me ask for yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And did you feel like each time you said yes, that like sort of that native knowing, like gut feeling, did you feel like you were in the right place?
Yeah.
Yes. So you were seeing the yellow, you met Raphael, all of that. But it's vague memory, not clear. It's all kind of gone.
It's actually weird because I remember in Hod itself, I remember it on the ship and going there is a little fuzzy. But
Gotcha.
for some reason, Raphael told me that I wasn't quite ready, not in a gatekeeping way, but just in a wake up, get your mind straight way. And after he said that, I kind of just toned out and I was able to really be there then.
You were able to, okay. So you
Yeah.
were able to, once reminded that you were capable of doing it by Raphael, you like dropped any of the like, this is what I'm supposed to, the
Yeah.
expectation. And then you were able to communicate. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Yes. No, that's awesome. That's perfect. And it's great advice. You know, that's, I would say that this is fine and dandy. I'm not concerned about it because Tiferet is emotional and it's all of those. It's, yeah, boredom is equally an emotion that we desire. It gives us a rest and really flatlines like serotonin, melatonin, and all of that stuff, and allows us to actually get into a play create state. It's like high alpha wave uh, will actually produce the same similar thing to boredom, where things tune out and we miss details and things get fuzzy and kind of sleepy, dreamy, woozy, bluesy. Awesome. It's rainy outside. I just want a hot chocolate and blankie. Right. That state is completely natural to Florida. So especially in like the upper layers. So this is another thing where you like with the nausea, just kind of watch it, you know, make sure that you're hitting your mark. And that's my only advice as a magical practitioner and fellow traveler is if you start feeling like you're just wandering the astral, get the fuck out, girl. Cash your check, come home, do the tappy tappy exercise. It really works. I think I told you one of my former teachers was Dawn Coyle. And one of the things she would always do, and it was hilarious and stupid. We all hated it, but it was so effective that we all did it. And that's head, shoulders, knees and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and, you know, and eyes, shoulders, knees, and whatever it is. However it goes, you have to do it. It's a little dance and you touch these body parts. It's like a kid's mnemonic song. It's so stupid, but it fucking grounds you in a heartbeat and brings you back in your body and really does help with the kind of the adjustment shock between true travel in the astral and the full presence back in your body. So just watch it, make sure you hit your mark. And as long as you're hitting your mark, mama, wrap up in that woolly, fleecy flannel blankie and have all the happy hot chocolate human. In my case, it would probably be chips, salsa, and green chili with tortilla.
That sounds good.
Oh, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you betcha. And I think that's the whole gang, isn't it? Is that everyone?
Jackie.
No, mine's is
Oh,
there.
Jackie.
Mine was right after Maddie's.
All right, let's.
The one with all the swirly swirls.
Oh, did we even see that? I thought Maddie's was a different one.
We did. Yeah, mine's the weird looking thingy thing.
girl, that's something.
You know what? It was intense. As you see, my screen keeps acting up.
Oh, yeah.
I-
Let
it's
me
just
stop
like-
sharing so I can actually see because you're showing on your thing, aren't you? Oh, you're not.
Well, I had to turn it off. You know what it is it's been doing that ever since for a while now.
That green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to leave
but
it off for now. It was
Okay.
intense, very intense. It was like he kept telling me to go over here, go over here, go over here, go over here, go here. Look at this, look at it was like a little kid in a candy store.
Oh, awesome.
But the problem is when I was there, it was so intense. It's like somebody was sticking something in the back of my head to try to like compute it all. And so that's where all the lines were coming in and all were going out. And it looked like one of those, I don't know if you've ever seen like in the movie, what the hell is it called? The Mummy, those little Egyptian bugs.
Oh, yes.
That's what it reminded me of when I saw it. So it was like
Oh,
scattered
oh my
all
God.
over the place.
That's hysterical. Oh my God. That's good. Well, you know, if you made it there and you made the connection, that's the important part. That's
Yeah.
hysterical. And like I said, these are all great things for your magical journal. Um, uh,
That's it,
typically,
honey. Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah. And typically, too many messages, scarabs. That's right. They were scarab beetles, which don't do that, by the way. Actual scarab beetles. I'm wearing one, in fact. Right there.
It was like,
For the
yeah,
Egyptians, the scarab beetle represented life from lifelessness, or what's called parthenogenesis, the power of a god to create themselves out of nothing. And so I think that's just hilarious and awesome and cute, and totally journal it and you know that this might be an aspect of your particular experience of HOD that winds up repeating theme or has more information for you.
I'm hoping to have some more information because there was a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
The lights
That's
were
right.
flickering over here, and now I got my lights on my camera flickering. So yeah.
No, yeah, but that's absolutely HOD. That's Raphael. You know, just like with the concept of God Mercury, all things dealing with the electron and communication and light, electromagnetism, light, so the emission of photons, how all that works, optics, the mind and the bioelectric machine that is the brain, all that stuff is Raphael. That is it. That is his nature. So, yeah, like that. Super awesome. All right, guys. It is 10 o'clock. We went way late. I'm so sorry. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and I will see you guys. So for the sake of the recording, we will see you with the next class. And I'm going to go ahead and stop that.